We got him.
Hello.
First of all, you both look incredible. This is an amazing
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Oh,
Yes, I love your shoes.
The shoes.
The shoes.
This whole
Yeah,
thing.
we said this was mermaid summer shoes.
The mermaid summer shoes, right? I don't
Yeah.
know a lot, but I know mermaid shoes, and I know when I need to own them. That's exactly what happened here. Guys, thank you so much for taking time out
Yeah,
of what I
thank you for
imagine to
having
be-
us.
Yeah,
We're
thank
really
you.
excited to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. We're got so much to talk about. Of course, we have to talk about Dance Moms. We're going to do that. You've got Chloe Does It. We're going to talk about that. And you've got a book. We're going to get to all of those things. But first,
Cool.
I would love to just know, how are you doing? How's your summer going? How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty well, yeah. It's been a really good summer, super busy. I feel like I haven't really had time to be a kid yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We have a vacation at the end of summer, so that's
where
when
are you
I'm
going?
gonna learn how to surf actually.
No
How
way.
Fun, yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah. I'm
Hawaii.
excited.
We went to Puerto Rico for a few days.
Yeah, that was fun. That was like a little getaway, and
Can I give you a bit of advice on the surfing thing? I went to Hawaii for my honeymoon last year. We did a surf lesson. Best thing we ever did was the surf lesson. Worst thing we ever did, no sunblock on our legs. We were face down for 35 to 40 minutes. Well, we thought we'd have wetsuits or something like that, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Not the case. We were burnt to a crisp.
Okay,
Yeah,
sunscreen
it
it is.
Question: should I be concerned about sharks?
Depends on what part of the island you're on. 9 times out of 10, no.
I'm so scared of sharks.
I don't
It's
know if
Shark
we're going to
Week,
Hawaii.
or is
I
it
can tell
over?
you, there's a guy you got to look up. He'll do lessons with his dogs where they will surf with you.
What?
Yeah, I swear to I'm
kidding
not making
me.
this up. I will show you videos and photos. It is absolutely incredible.
We're not getting a dog.
Rocky and his dogs, they're incredible. They get out there, and they'll paddleboard, too, if you don't want to surf. They'll just paddleboard with
Oh,
you.
I want to paddleboard.
There you go.
I do. I want
Now
to
I've
stand
got
on
you.
there like, you know.
I swear I don't work for him. I just had a great time.
You're like, go to him. Go to
I
him.
promise.
Go to
but,
him.
we'll get into that in a little bit. You said you haven't had time to be a kid, but you did hit a major milestone recently. You got your learner's permit. Is that
I
right?
did. I'm 16.
Chloe turned
Oh.
16.
We can applaud for that. That's a big deal.
Well, thank you.
You must be terrified.
Yes. Well, actually, no. Chloe's a really great driver, and there's an episode of Chloe Does It, which we'll talk about, that comes up where I teach her how to drive, and I realize that I'm a really horrible teacher.
She was telling
I'm
me
a
to turn
terrible
the wheel the
teacher.
wrong way, and I started driving into all the cones. I was like, "What are you doing? This isn't what I'm supposed to do."
That's the question. Are you a bad teacher? Or are you a bad driver?
I'm probably a bad driver.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm probably a bad driver. I'm
Could be a
thinking
little bit of
yes. Well,
No?
have I what?
No, I was going to say could be a little bit of both. Maybe not. Maybe.
Probably, but I've never, knock on wood, never been in an accident.
These are wood.
So
Oh, well, then you're a pretty good driver by that measure.
I think so too.
I think that's how you measure if you're a good driver or not.
Right, I guess.
I don't know.
Right?
Sounds right. Anybody?
Yeah,
Anybody want to
she's
debate
not
that?
I am a
No?
little terrified
No? Yeah,
because
there we are.
she has to learn how to drive not only in Pittsburgh, but in Los Angeles
I
as
was going to
well.
ask about that, right? Because you got to go all.
Yeah, because
so-
we have our apartment in Los Angeles and our house in Pittsburgh, so I've kind of been learning in both. And I went on the
The 101. Oh my
that
God.
was the worst experience of my life.
Or
It was
mine.
terrifying.
It was the worst experience of mine.
It
It
was
is a very
terrifying.
very real moment the first time you've got to merge onto a major road.
Yeah.
like
that.
scarier than before. I get really nervous before I go on stage for competitions,
Yeah.
and that was scarier than that.
Just getting onto the
Driving was scarier than that, and nothing has ever beat that. So
Okay.
Yeah, and
fair
Chloe
enough.
doesn't like to check for blind spots.
I'm still learning. It's
Who
it's called
does?
a learn by
Right,
mistake.
right.
Reason.
Typically,
Right.
great drivers would be the answer to that
Right,
question.
typically great drivers.
Well, does your car? I'm sorry, we're not going to spend. I promise the whole 20 minutes.
Talking about Chloe
Give me
driving.
the
talk
ins
about
and
this.
outs of your driving experience.
Surfing and driving is
Yeah,
all
that's
we
it.
talked about so far.
I mean, we might as well. You know what? I'll ask all my follow-up driving questions later. Let's move on. I do want to get to because we have a lot to talk about, and I could easily. Go
I
on
know
about
you have
this
so
stuff.
much going on, and I'm like, I'm a
crazy.
mom.
Yeah. Well,
The best
we're gonna get
mom.
to because you're more than just a mom, right? You're.
Clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
Clearly.
It's right there. It's on the sign.
It's on the sign.
Let's get into Dance Moms really quick. This is a big deal. You're back, a return, very exciting.
Who would have ever thought? Ever.
Right?
I never thought. Did you guys ever think? I didn't.
A lot of no's.
No.
Shaking their head. Nobody would have thought.
No.
Well, that's where I want to start. Is what led to that decision? Was it 2-3 years removed? How,
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
What made you say it is time? I want to go back.
Well, I had just found out that the girls were coming back to the East Coast for their final nationals, and I thought, my impression was that it was like the last season of the entire show, and I think it was supposed to be.
I believe it was.
And that was very just, that was a moment for me because that was my whole childhood, and I left so abruptly and never had proper closure that I felt like, wow, if I don't get proper closure now, if I don't get a final goodbye now, then when am I ever going to have that moment? So I talked to my mom and I was like, I think I want to go back. And
I could
thought it
have
was gonna be
fallen
one
over in the
episode.
kitchen. I was like, what? And she's like, I think I want to go back. And I'm like,
Well, just for one episode. That's what that was it.
that was the plan.
Yeah.
And then we went back, and then another season showed up, and I was like, well, I guess we're going back for another season.
Talk about
Yeah.
kind of leading up to that, right? You're making this decision. There's so many different unknown things, like, who the new people are going to be. Yeah, who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, what's waiting for you when you walk in. How do you juggle all of those unknowns with this huge decision?
Well, the clip that you saw when we actually walked in the door for the very first time on that finale, oh, hello. What you didn't see was Chloe standing outside the door for about 5 minutes. Like, she kept putting her hand on the door, and she's like, I don't think I can do it. And we were
I was like, they were
physically getting sick. She's like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like, you know what? We're here. Open the door.
Well, in my defense, I wasn't sure if my teacher, Abby, was going to be on the other side of that door, and I didn't know if I could handle that moment, to be quite honest. So I was like, I don't know if I can enter this environment again. And then I went in, and she wasn't there, and it was just like wonderful happiness. So it was good.
Well, that's one of those things, right, that you don't know, and that is a huge factor when you're making that call going in. You're rolling the dice on a very important part of the puzzle. Yeah. So I imagine there were a lot of discussions had prior to that moment.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussions, but it was more about us and our journey and our story. I don't think that our story was quite over when we left, because it was just somebody else made the decision for us to leave, meaning that it was such an unbearable circumstance that I no longer felt it was a good place for Chloe. But I felt like our story needed to be finished. And I think in a way, it was the best thing I ever did. The best thing I ever did was leaving the show when I did, because it was important for her. And as a mom, I needed to leave. But the best thing I ever did was going back, because we got a lot of closure. And now when I look back on Dance Moms, and I think that you can say the same, I'm going to look back and really love what happens. Because I think you guys are going to love what you're going to see coming up this season. Because if I was like an Academy Award winning writer, I couldn't have written the way things all come to fruition. And I think everybody who, especially people who've watched the show since the beginning, you guys are going to love to see what happens to these girls, because I did.
That's like the definition of closure. That's a really good place to be in, to be able to look at it and think that. What's something that you were really hopeful and optimistic and excited for, that you thought was waiting for you when you got back there, and you were lucky, and it was the friends, the relationships?
For sure the friends, because I was, as I said before, I left so abruptly that my friendship, it was kind of severed with the girls, but it wasn't, because it was awkward when I ran into them, and it just wasn't the same as it was before. And so after going back to the show, then I really got to rebuild that friendship, and I got to dance again. I hadn't danced like that in about a year, so it was kind of weird going from not dancing at that level to dancing at that level on national television.
And you struggled. You did struggle.
Yeah, I did struggle, and I'm sure people will make comments about how my dancing has changed, but people are always going to say things. And so it was, but I was very excited for various reasons. And just like, as my mom said, to have that, to be able to look back in 30 years and say, I'm so happy I went back, because now I have a happy memory from Dance Moms rather than just bad and negative and drama and ugly tears. So.
Forget about what other people are going to say. How do you feel about how your dance has evolved and changed over time?
I've been through.
Is that a big question? Is that too much to?
No. I mean, I was dancing every single day for like 4 years of my life, and then I stopped and I competed for a year, and then I really took a break. I focused on acting. I've done, I think, 4 or 5 films now, so it's been really incredible. So dance hasn't been the main focus of my life anymore. So really, it did affect how I was dancing when I went back to the show. But I'm happy, and I'm proud of what I've done so far. So I guess that's all that
I'm
matters.
proud, because she could have quit. When we left the show for the first time, she could have quit. I gave her the option to quit, and she said, no, I want to continue to dance. And she knew going back into Dance Moms what the conditioning and what the dance requirements were going to be. And she knew that she wasn't quite where the other girls were. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to do it for myself. And as a mom, and she's like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what people say. And she's like, I'm going back to do it for me. And I said that was like your encore. I said, you had your finale, but that was your encore. And so I was very proud and emotional and excited to watch her.
Coming out soon.
And there is nothing in this world I love more than watching Chloe dance. We all know that, right? Like that face, and I get all like, And it was really wonderful for me to see her up there again, and to watch all of the girls, because I've watched those girls grow up. And
I think everyone's gonna really like the Nationals number. That one's fun.
Yeah, there's a lot.
different.
There's a lot of fun stuff that's coming up.
Wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, Christi. Was there anybody you were least looking forward to seeing when you went back?
Well, let me think. Who did I not want to see? Well,
You know, and let's put a positive spin on it. Was there
Yes.
somebody that you thought about that, but then by the end of it, you were like, you know what? I'm glad I saw that person. I'm glad we got to have that conversation.
no, because that person I did not have a conversation with ever.
Got it.
However, I was,
clear.
no talking. Not sad about it either.
Got it.
But I was really excited to see like Holly and Jill, like regardless of what, you see on television, those women are women that I've known forever. And I was excited to see them. And okay, I'll tell you guys like a little fun story. So the moms all have a text chain, all of the moms. Like, I shouldn't say all of the moms. Here's who's on the text chain. It's me, two of our producers, Kelly, gotta have Kel, Holly, Jill, Kira, and Melissa. And we're all on a text chain.
That's a big chain.
It's a big chain. And no one would have ever thought that you'd see that text chain. And the stuff that goes back and forth on that text chain is hysterical. Like, it's hysterical.
Can you share anything?
Well, we share a lot of
Anything
old
fit for-
pictures. We
Okay.
share a lot of news articles that are currently out about other cast members. Wonder who. It's
idea.
just, it's really nice because, everyone thinks that we all hate each other and this and that. But at the end of the day, those women are really women who nobody's going to understand. Like, we were just moms from Pittsburgh wearing like TJ Maxx dresses and going on TV. And we're like, what's happening on our kids? And you guys are the ones who fell in love with the girls and turned this show that no one ever thought much of into really, it was a cultural phenomenon.
For sure.
And I can't thank you enough because you've changed our lives. And I'm speaking for all of the moms. So thank you guys. I really mean that.
I think a round of applause. Yeah. Your instincts were correct. Well, it comes back, season 7.5, if you will. It comes back tomorrow night, 8, 9 Central on Lifetime. And I believe you have an episode coming up in 2 weeks, like a big one, I think.
Big one. Yeah, because we don't return right away. There has to be some lead up.
A little bit of build up. So
Little
we got that
build.
to look forward to. I do want to get into some of the other stuff you've been working on. Of course, Chloe Does It just launched. Was it the 24th, I think, just recently. And it's such a fun show. Where did the idea come from? Tell everybody that may not have heard of it yet or doesn't know about it yet what the premise of the show is.
So basically, you guys are commenting what you would like to see me do, and I go and do it pretty much.
You're in the driver's seat.
Simple as
It's
that.
really
As
fun.
simple as that. You guys, someone commented they wanted to see me go to Dough, the cookie dough cafe here in New York.
Which is right around the
That's
corner.
right around the corner, yeah.
Yeah, and I went, and it was so fun, and I'm so glad I did because I love cookie dough, like, a lot. And so I did that, and it was pretty fun.
Bold stance to take.
Yeah,
You're a
and then
big
there's-
fan of cookie dough.
Big fan. Big.
Brave move.
There's an episode about me learning how to drive, and that episode's pretty
Shameful.
funny. So
I want to dig into more. I want to talk more about this show, but real quick, I believe we actually have a clip we're going to take a look at of you at Dough, which is a lot of
Okay.
fun. If we can roll that.
Oh, I
real
haven't
quick.
seen this.
So these are all of our different flavors. This is the chocolate chip one that you just made.
okay, it looks
It's so good. And then our second bestseller is our cake batter. So that one has sprinkles, white chips, and chocolate chips. We have chocolate dream, oatmeal M&M.
I love it. I want to live here.
If you're gonna be a dough pro, you gotta get on all the gear.
All the ensemble.
Yeah.
How do I look, guys? Good.
You're gonna stick it in the middle, down like that, and use 2 hands just to pull it forward.
Okay.
Next, you're gonna take this and roll it off.
Okay.
Like that. And then it's easy to kind of grab the scoop and it'll easily fall right off when you scoop it into the cup.
It is harder than you think.
It's harder than you think, right? Oh, look at that. Good job.
Is it good?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm getting a lot.
It's okay.
Oh wait. Oh god. There we go.
First
Got
scoop.
it. Did it.
It's hard, right?
Yeah, it is hard.
Okay.
How do you not break the cone?
It's difficult. That's why, yep, you got it. You got to use the side gently. Yep. Just roll it off. See?
Wow.
Amazing.
Did it. There we go. And this cone is so cute.
Cute.
Would you guys eat this? Because I'm tempted to.
Perfect. Round of applause, guys.
You're cute.
That was a lot harder than it looks.
It was really hard.
Like you were saying,
That's your new after-school job.
There it is.
And I want you all to know that I brought each of those cups home, and I ate all of them.
Did you really? You tried every single
No
flavor?
shame.
Is it all just legit straight dough? I know of that place. I never had a chance.
But
I
it's
gotta
like
take a walk over there.
They use like certain eggs that makes it like not bad for you, I guess.
Yeah, I was reading online. It's totally safe to eat it raw. And they're like, you can eat it raw, you can put it in the oven, you can do whatever you want. It's delicious.
I know, it's incredible. And there's this one, it's called, I really recommend it. It's there's Dunkadoo and then there's Give Me S'mores. Those are like my favorite.
Very clever. Yeah, you can't have a place like that without like punny names for everything. You've got to have like a witty little name. I want to know, so the idea, your fans, they come up with the challenges, they send them over, you accept, you head out there. Have you gotten like crazy challenges yet, like skydiving or things like that?
She would love that.
Want to. Someone recommends skydiving.
No, you have to be
How do you
18.
feel
Your
about
mother
that,
is not
Christi?
signing off on that. No.
What? Please,
No.
please,
No.
please.
No.
It looks so fun.
No.
You have to understand how
like
the
to do that?
internet
I
works.
would like
Christi. Now that you've said no that many times, there are already 4 million requests for skydiving out there. That are,
I mean, please request that.
there's no winning.
Don't
It's a catch-22.
request her to clean her room. Do not. See, I'm
I see
working
what
on
you're trying.
yeah.
I see what you're trying. I don't think it's going to work. I think the skydiving is going to
Actually,
prevail.
your room's pretty clean.
I had a list of way scarier things that I don't think I'm going to say, but you can just answer the swimming with sharks. Were there any? I'm just curious. The internet is a wild place, is my point. So I'm sure you get a lot of crazy requests. Are there any that were like, I'm not doing that, that's insane? Or are there any that like, I can't wait to do that? Put on
Somebody
the
wanted
back
to see
burner?
you go on a date.
Interesting. There you go.
No, not on the internet.
Also
Look,
no.
see?
Christi, do you get final word on the challenges?
I'm thinking so. I give myself
I
final
don't know.
word.
I'm really bad at flirting, so I don't think I could go on a date.
I love how awkward she is. She's
So we're back to
awkward.
skydiving is what I'm getting from this. Is that where?
I guess pretty much.
Is it, what I love about this show is not just the crazy, like the fun stuff that you get to do and all that stuff, but the entire idea that your fans get to pick the challenges and you kind of connect with them. Because one of the things that I'm curious about is when you get to like, on your Instagram alone, it's like what, 5.7 million, 5.2 million, something like that. Does it get overwhelming or frustrating to find a way to connect with that many people and make them feel appreciated? Like this is, I think, a great way of doing that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree 100%. It's I feel like they're so involved, and I feel like
And even your response
Like,
videos
they'll-
are another way to do it.
right, exactly. So yeah, I definitely love it because I feel like it's a team collaborative thing. But with Instagram, like I just try my best to like go through and like everything that I can.
And Twitter, you do. I mean, she really does handle her social media, and she makes a concerted effort every day to go on and interact. And
I mean, why wouldn't
like
I? Because
things.
everyone's so, like, for the most part, of course, there's mean comments, but everyone's so nice. Like, if I'm ever having a bad day, I just go look and they're like, she's so pretty. I'm like, thank you. That's so nice.
I needed that.
Yeah. I know, like, I never will need a boyfriend because I just have all of these wonderful people telling me that I'm pretty. I'm like, okay.
I tell
This
you
is
you're
a very
pretty.
slippery slope. This is.
I tell you you're pretty every day.
Yeah, you do. You're nice.
I can attest
Welcome to
to
16, everyone. Welcome to 16.
I can attest to that you were I saw backstage you were managing your own social media and doing your best. It's just I imagine it can be overwhelming with those kind of numbers, that level of fan base, and that.
For
can
sure.
be-
I just don't want anyone to ever get angry that they think I'm only, like, responding to certain people
Yeah.
because of
No.
certain reasons. Like, there's really no method behind it.
How
I'm
could there
just
be?
going
Yeah.
through and liking everything I can.
Well, and I
Totally.
think one of the points to that is that you really do handle your social media just like everybody else in this room does. I'm sure you guys all have social media, and that is, even though Chloe's is on a very large scale, she's managing it, and she gets ugly comments that she has to kind of work through, and mean kids at school and the same thing. And that kind of leads, I'm going to lead into something if I may,
do.
but
I
that
would love
leads into, like, you address that in your book. Like, you talk a lot
Perfect
about
segue.
that.
Perfect segue.
I know, you nailed
I know, nailed
You
it.
crushed
Nailed
that
it,
segue.
momager.
You
No.
nailed it. Yeah.
But high five.
You nailed it.
No, but for
Let's
real.
get into that. Yeah, let's talk about that because I did want to get to
All
the
right.
book before we get to audience Q&A. Tell us
Okay.
a little bit about the book. I think it's a great time to do it. And also very impressive that you had time to write a book. Tell us.
And she wrote that book when we were filming Dance Moms. Every night she would come home and work on that book after rehearsal.
I mean,
and I'm like,
it's been
oh.
it's very close to my heart because I've always been a huge reader growing up. That was like my parents read, and I was just surrounded by that. And so when I kind of I don't necessarily know how it came to be, but I met with a few publishers, and
Yeah.
I decided to write a book. And it's kind of like the behind the scenes that you didn't really see about Dance Moms. There's pictures in there that people have never seen before. It's kind of like, I'd like to say, an inspiration, self-help, advice book. You know, even though I have these incredible opportunities and I live this wonderful life, I also deal with stress of school and bullies and going on dates and how do
Being a teenager,
I, like,
having
be
an
a teenager.
overbearing mother.
Right, so I like to think I addressed that in this book. There's also a chapter on bullying, so I almost feel like I'm reaching a hand out to all of my fellow teenagers. I'm like, you're not alone. We're in this together. But and I took a creative writing class in the beginning of last year, and so I wrote some short pieces that are also in the book, which
Those are fun.
yeah. So I'm kind of nervous
Drawings?
how people
You have little drawings.
Yeah,
all
I have
for
little
the book?
drawings. So it's really it's close to my heart, and I just hope people like the book.
I
Yeah.
cried when I read it because I
really?
didn't read it until the end, and I read it and I cried. Of course, I cried. That's what I do. I cry.
Well, that it's I believe January 23rd was the
Yes,
date that I
it's
had that
available
we're
for-
looking at. But you could pre-order it now, right?
Yeah, on Amazon, so you
of
can go do
course.
that, and then.
But we didn't say the title of the book yet. which
Oh
I think
no,
is great. It's perfect.
It's Girl on Point,
Yeah.
Chloe's Guide to Taking on the World.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was reading that you're really excited because it's this sort of window behind the scenes and this different
Yeah.
perspective. Is there one thing in particular or one aspect of your personality that you're really excited for your fans to be exposed to, for them to see for the first time, maybe?
You know,
You're a nerd.
Sorry?
You're a nerd.
Well, I think everyone knows that.
Oh,
If you don't,
she's a
I'm
nerd. But I love her.
Like, I actually freaked out because I saw a stormtrooper at Disneyland. I was like, I have to get a picture. But no, it's like, I don't know. Some of the stuff I talk about in there is stuff I don't know if I can necessarily sit here and say, like, look, I deal with this stuff. So I almost feel a little bit like I'm hiding behind my book and I'm saying, like, look, I deal with this stuff and this is what's happened to me. And it's hard, but yeah, I definitely think people will understand me deeper maybe throughout this book. And
You gonna do an audiobook? You gonna read it?
No, you are.
oh, okay.
You didn't know? I forgot to tell you that. You are.
That's an exclusive. You're doing the audiobook.
Surprise!
That's so exclusive. You didn't even know it yet.
Yes.
That
didn't
is
even
very
know.
exclusive. But that actually dovetails perfectly into one of my final questions before we get over to audience Q&A, which is, as Chloe takes on all of these different projects, you know, she's writing books, she's got her short form show, she's on Dance Mom, she's in movies, she's doing everything, she's drawing. How does obviously you're beaming with pride. I can see you're literally beaming right now with pride.
Oh,
which
sorry.
Is, no, it's
I am
fine.
proud
Don't
of her.
apologize for that. You should be. But I'm curious, is how does your role, you jokingly refer to yourself as a momager earlier, how does it shift in form to sort of meet the needs of each project? Do you sometimes think, you know what, let me stand back and let her take this?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who watches Dance Moms knows that I'm a little overbearing. And I'm trying very hard as Chloe grows up. I'm trying to trust in the fact that my husband and I raised her to make those decisions on her own. And it is hard. And I am beaming with pride because I sit here and I listen. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my little girl. Like, I love her more than anything in the world. And at the end of the day, like, when she's having those bad days, like, I'm the one she comes to. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. But I think with different projects, I put myself into it or take myself out. Like your book, I really knew that you could handle that. And so I stepped out of that. Where other things, I think sometimes she needs me more involved. And so I try to be that. Or I try to read her body language, which oftentimes is like, leave me alone because she's 16 and I'm her mother and all of those things. But I don't know. I don't have a right or wrong answer. I just trial and error, like every other mother out there. You just do the best you can and hope for the best.
Wow, you guys seem to be doing something right. We're going to turn it over to audience Q&A. Before we do, of course, tomorrow night, 8, 9 Central, Lifetime Dance Moms is back for the second half of season 7. Yep. Chloe Does It is streaming now, and your book is coming out January 23rd. Anything else that I forgot to mention that you got going on right now? Any movies or anything coming out you want people to see?
I just filmed Freddie. It's a film that I filmed in Arkansas, so check that out.
Family
I don't know
movie.
when it's gonna be out, so I don't even know
Fair
when
enough.
Well,
Set up a
Cowgirl
Google
Story
alert.
is on Amazon right now.
Netflix.
Oh, that's what I meant. Netflix.
So yeah, it's very exciting stuff.
Very, very exciting. Guys, all right, let's go ahead and take some audience questions. I see we have a microphone right over here.
Hi.
Hi.
So what's the biggest difference from when you left Dance Moms to when you returned?
I think the biggest difference was, all the girls and I kind of grew up, but we grew up separately. So I grew up on my own time and they did together. But so kind of learning how we meshed together again, if that makes sense, because I was with them every single day for 4 years and even before then. So when I left, it's like we kind of fell out of sync. But then going back, it was how do we how do we all fit and who's who in the group, and if that makes sense. But it was just learning each other, I guess.
Great, thank you. Next question is all right here.
Hi.
I love your dress.
Thank you. Was it hard for you to leave Dance Moms at first and to leave your best friends? And can I get a hug with both of you guys?
Yeah.
Good segue. Hi. Oh, you're so cute. You're welcome.
Wait, was it hard leaving Dance Moms?
Yeah,
Is that what you
that
asked?
was the question. It was really about the hug, but that was the lead up to the.
That's all right.
Yeah,
that was good. Smooth.
Yeah,
you must have
very smooth, by the way.
clever.
Very smooth. Well done.
It was a little difficult, but as my mom said before, it was the right time. I think had I stayed, I'm a huge believer in everything happens for a reason. So I think I was supposed to leave when I did, and had I stayed any longer, I don't think I would have had the opportunities that I have now. I wouldn't have had to be able to be an actress and all that stuff. So yeah, no, I was pretty happy when I left.
But it was hard to leave the girls.
It was very weird because I went from the same schedule every single day and dancing every single day to not doing that anymore. So it was a little bit weird.
Perfect. Thank you for that. We have another question
Mike.
right here.
Hi,
do you?
how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
How are you?
So since your time returning to the show, now what is the best part of performing again for you?
The best part about performing again. Let's see. Well, I have some new teachers, so obviously there's stress and pressure on you, of course. That's what comes with competing, but it's not like end of the world if you mess up kind of pressure. So I kind of got to enjoy it more and just relax and be happy that I was dancing and doing what I loved with my best friends. Yeah.
I think that was our last question. Unfortunately, I talked way too much. I
Yep,
apologize.
for me.
But
I think it was us.
I had such a blast with you guys, and thank you so much again for being here. I'll remind everyone watching at home and everyone here one more time, Dance Moms tomorrow night, and then Tuesdays, 8, 9 Central on Lifetime.
Yep.
Of course, your show, Chloe Does It. Guys, submit suggestions. No skydiving. Totally
No.
skydiving thing. Totally do the no
And adopting a
skydiving.
dog.
No getting a dog. No dogs. Chloe
Totally
gets a
not doing
puppy.
that.
I
Nope.
love this.
Keep an eye. You can pre-order the book now on Amazon. And you know, there was one thing I forgot to mention. You were nominated for a Choice Dancer
Oh, yeah.
Choice
Teen
2017. Yeah, round of applause. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You've been tweeting like crazy about it. Everybody knows out there how to vote and how to make that happen. A lot of stuff.